Hey there, how are you today? I am speaking about something that I have developed in myself over the last almost 5 decades of my life. And to people who know me, they may have always thought that I was confident or looked confident, but there's a difference between looking confident and having the confidence to actually speak your own truth and use your voice to advocate for yourself, to advocate for people you love, and to do it in a way where you're not trembling, your lips aren't stuck to your teeth, and you actually feel like I'm in my power. I'm grounded. I've got this. I've got my space, and I know what I'm talking about, and not have your nervous system flaring up and taking you out into fight, flight, freeze. So today's topic is finding the confidence to speak up, to speak out, to speak your truth. Having a voice, being able to use it, and it's so important, especially if you're a mum or a dad that has children, because not only are they learning from us about how to use their voice, but it's also being able to advocate for them. And this was something that I really struggled with as a young mum many decades ago. It was speaking up for my children, to have their back when another adult was saying things about my children, whether it was, this child is behaving in a certain way, or about their education, or about all kinds of different things. And in the play, there's all that playground stuff too, this mother and that mother, and your child, my child, etc., etc. Being able to speak up for yourself is important, but as a parent, speaking up for your children and for their needs as well. So as usual, this topic is not singularly dimensional. It's there's a whole stack of angles and juicy bits around this. And it's all about that human experience. And so in this case, I've had a bit of a think about it. I've made some notes, and we're going to be looking at identity for one, because in order to speak up, you have to be able to identify as somebody that is worthy of a voice, has the confidence to speak up. The second thing is safety, and that's just a learned thing. It's just programming, and we can find that safety in our body, because obviously our body responds to unsafe situations with anxiety, and then afterwards, can take us down into self-deprecating if we feel like we did something wrong. And the last one is esteem, self-esteem, self-worth, that kind of thing, and how that impacts and changes whether or not we're able to use our voice confidently to advocate and speak up for ourselves. So firstly, actually, there is a fourth aspect of this. All of those things are about the self, and then we've also got the situation or the circumstance in which we need to stand up for, and we'll look a little bit about how there are different circumstances. So if you can relate to any of that, there's a lot of complex programming that make up who we are and how we fit in the world and how we show up in the world. So there can be difficulties when it comes to speaking up. It can be about, perhaps it's like, I find it hard to speak up. Maybe it's, I find it hard to say what I feel. Maybe it's, I find it hard to tell people what I think honestly. To find it hard to say no. That's a huge one, when you really want to say no, but you say yes instead. And a lot of people say that to me, I just can't say no. Another one is standing up for yourself when, something's wrong and you're just shutting it in on the inside, and you're not speaking and telling someone else that's not accepted by you. Then another one is setting boundaries. So what you will accept, what you won't accept, and just asking, actually saying, or vocalizing what it is that you actually need. Like, this is what I need. I'm a person too, and I need this, and I need it from you. And being able to say, that's what I deserve, whether it's respect or time or help or money or whatever else it is. If you can relate to any of these things, keep watching, because I'm going to be delving into some of that stuff. And I'll just flip my notes over here. I actually wrote notes today, just so I could keep on topic. So let's talk about some of this stuff. First one, circumstances. So in order for us to need a voice to speak up, there has to be a situation where we've got something to say, or where something needs to be said on our behalf. And we're not we don't operate the same in every situation. So we're all different people. And you might see somebody, and I get this all the time as well, professionally, they are on fire. They have, like, I get this a lot with women actually. So in their professional context, they are a powerful, dominant force that can handle themselves in massive situations, corporate life, whatever, or whatever the situation is at work, when they've got their work persona on. But then in their personal life or in relationship or in other situations, they just crumple into like a complete role reversal. It's like I'm up when I'm at work and I'm down. And it can be the opposite. Perhaps at home in the family, you've got your voice, and then out, in the world, you lose your voice. So everybody's different. Everybody's learned different coping mechanisms, different strategies, different behaviors. So there's also, let's have a look at some other things. So perhaps you have a voice when you're standing up for your kids, but you don't when it comes to standing up for yourself. Perhaps you have a voice to defend a friend, but not yourself. Or maybe it's, I feel confident speaking up if people are younger than me, but not if they're older. Perhaps it's about money. Like maybe I can speak about everything, but not money. Or maybe it is, yes, for money. And yeah, it just depends on you personally. And everyone will have their different things. So it's really important for us personally to be able to identify, when is it that I don't have a voice? And when is it that I do have a voice? So what is it that gives me the power to speak up? And for some of us, it'll just be, I just never speak up about anything ever. So that if you're at that point, that's fine. All things are changeable. This is not anything that's holding you back. It's not permanent. It's just about shifting a couple of things out of the way to lighten the load a little bit so that you can, fly. It's like, if you've got a little bird and you just take the clips off it and then it flies. So everything's fixable, changeable. No one has not got a voice, and there's no one that can't learn to use their voice. The second one is self-esteem. Now, before we delve into self-esteem, I want to just quickly cover what it is. So we all talk about self-esteem, but what esteem actually means, if I hold you in high esteem, it means that I highly regard you. I have high regard for you. If I hold you in low esteem, then I have very little regard for you. So what it actually means if someone has low self-esteem is they really disregard the self. There's no regard for the self. And regard just means care or respect or all that kind of stuff. So what I discovered, interestingly, this is a couple of weeks ago, I had this moment, and I realized, and I spoke to my friend about it, and she just said, wow, this just landed with her as well, is that the level of self-regard or self-esteem that we had is directly proportionate with how much unresolved emotion or unresolved past or unresolved distress or trauma or stuff. So if I have a lot of unresolved stuff, my self-regard is going to be low. And so that's where we get that heaviness, that baggage, that it pulls us down. It's like if I have unresolved grief, if I've got unresolved shame, if I've got unresolved anger or hurt or fear or anything, that's going to pull me down. And the fact that I'm feeling those things is going to make me feel bad about who I am and have low regard for myself. And when I look out into the world and I see other people that look like they have, more positive daily experiences, I'm going to look at them and I'm going to feel that they're up. And it goes back to that vibrational frequency as well. So if my vibrational frequency feels contracted, if I feel contracted, I'm going to feel small and therefore have small regard for myself. So that's really interesting to me. It also like helped me to understand why I had such low self-esteem in the past, and why I feel that, every year, even though, as you get older, you sort of hope that you try to work through some stuff. Of course, life brings you more and more and more all the time, because we don't stop living. So it's like, I'm trying to clean my house while I'm trying to clean my house while I'm trying to clean my house. It's the same thing with all this personal development stuff and healing of past stuff, is that the mess keeps happening while you're cleaning, but you can create order in yourself, within yourself, the same way you can in your home, and then keep it clear and organized as you go along. And that then makes you feel good. And when you feel good, you have high self-esteem and high regard. Now, when our self-esteem and our self-regard improves, it increases our confidence. Confidence is one of those things that everybody wants. We all want to feel confident. It's related to our identity. So it's the who am I within us that gives us the confidence. I am this or I am that. And that's why confidence can be in one situation or in the other, because you might have like, well, I am an accountant and I can be confident as an accountant, but then, we might not feel confident as another role that we play in our life. We're all playing different roles in different situations within our family, within our different areas of our life. And so it's really important to understand how all this knits together and how we can improve it by improving that self-regard, improving the confidence, having that high regard for ourselves, when we can put our own emotions first, heal our past, heal our trauma, heal all that heaviness, and make ourselves lighter. Number 3 is safety. Now, with all things, the unconscious has one main role, one directive, that is to keep us safe. So you can imagine that we have all had situations in our life that have chipped away at the safety aspect for different things. Now, speaking up, if you've been shut down, if you've been told off, if you've been confronted, criticized, made to feel helpless or powerless when you have spoken up, if you have had to avoid conflict your entire childhood, fear of punishment, all that kind of stuff, then you may have developed a history or a belief system within you that will prevent you from speaking up, because your unconscious and your body will be giving you triggers for it's not safe. Now, triggers just mean that freeze, or that like, I can't talk, I can't say it. It's not safe to speak up. It's not safe to be heard, or I'm not heard. No one pays attention to me. My feelings don't matter. That's a big one, where people have shut down your feelings and said, no, how dare you? Get back there, sit back down. Don't you dare speak up. Like, you don't you show that ugly anger to me, or whatever it's been. So you just have learned to shut down and not speak up about your feelings. Another one is, what I think or what I say doesn't matter. Like, I don't care what you think. How dare you even have an opinion? It's not safe to be seen. What happens when we speak up? Well, all of a sudden, if you speak up loud enough, you're going to be in the spotlight. Now, for a lot of us, that has not been a safe experience in the past, especially if we're living with, parents or bullies at school, or different. There's so many different times in our life where being seen might not have been safe. What about, I have to put other people first? That's huge. Like, how dare you, let this person have a turn. This person's important. That person's more important than you. Your father, your mother, your sister, your brother, you're too young, you're too old, you're too whatever. Putting other people first. And the last one, which is just the big crux of everything, is I don't matter. I don't matter. And how can we operate? How can we speak up when we have I don't matter? Guess what? You matter. You matter. This is your life. It's your voice. It's your opinion. They are your feelings. This is something you care about, then you need to speak up about it. You matter. If it's important to you, then it matters, because you matter. Our identity. I can't speak up. I've never have spoken up. I'm not that type of person. I'm not the type of person who can speak up. I can't say no. I'm here to tell you, you can. And the most powerful word in the universe, which you have access to, is N-O, spells no. No. Here's a very powerful sentence that I would like to share with you. A very powerful sentence that when I discovered it and used it, I was actually shocked by how powerful this sentence actually is, because it's only words. And I always felt like, I'm only a small woman and I don't have the ability to actually physically stop somebody from doing something or make someone do something. But the truth is, your voice is actually a really powerful tool. So I'm going to share this with you. First of all, I don't accept that. So this is a really powerful sentence. You just look at somebody and say, I don't accept that. So they're there saying whatever they're saying, and you say, no, I don't accept that. And you won't accept that. I don't accept that from you. I don't accept you speaking like that. I don't accept that behavior from you. I won't accept that behavior from you. And you can name the behavior. I won't accept you speaking to me like that. I won't accept you, throwing your clothes all over the floor. I won't accept you shouting at me. It's very, very, very powerful to use that sentence. That's what I'm going to leave you with today. That and one other thing. Never justify, never explain, and never defend, because those three things put you in a position of powerlessness. There is never a situation where you owe anybody an explanation. There is never a situation where you have to justify what you've said or what you've done, and there is no explanation needed. It's simply what is, and move on from there using the word no, and I don't accept that, I won't accept that, I won't accept that from you. I'd encourage you to try those two small changes, techniques, that word no, and I won't accept that behavior or that thing from you. And the awareness of when you are justifying, explaining, or defending, and just don't do it. Just stop and be silent. So somebody comes at you with blah, 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 blah. You don't start explaining of why or how or justifying or defending or anything like that. You just stop and remain silent. And then when you need to, you say, no, I won't accept that from you. Okay, that's it for today. But I will be doing more about this, about speaking up, finding a voice. There is more about this that needs to be said, about taking up space, about having a presence, about standing in your power, about more about the voice, more about how you feel in your actual somatic experience about speaking up and how it affects us, the physical responses around it when you do get that terror of actually thinking, oh, if I say this, it's almost like you feel like, you're going to create chaos. When we're silent, we're retracting and we're avoiding. And when we're speaking up, we feel like we're causing a problem, like we're actually exacerbating. It's like the feeling of like, I'm going to put petrol on this fire and I'm going to get burned. So let's talk more about this another time. If you've had any value from anything I've said, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, join my Anxiety Free Life Facebook group, and connect. Comment below. Have a great day. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.